think I'm ready.
Okay, so what activities are you involved in?
Yeah, so I'm involved in student council, class officers. Class officers is sort of a sub part of student council. Each grade has its own representatives that are raising money for prom, senior picnic, as well as putting on recreational events. Last year we did Beefcake, a men's volleyball tournament. We also did Powder Puff. Well, the seniors did that, but that's another class officer responsibility. Yeah, and it's also a big responsibility of ours to raise spirit. Pep rallies are a big part of what we do.
Okay, what makes you stand out from the student body? What do you think sets you apart from the crowd?
I love Kingwood Park. I love being involved here. We've got great spirit, and I am extremely proud to be a part of what we have here.
What do you think makes the class of 2025 stand out then?
We have an amazing group of class officers that are at any minute ready to make our high school experience better. But apart from that, day one, we've had an amazing amount of energy. The pep rally that we had on the first day of our high school career, freshman year, we won the Spirit Stick. So I think that sort of said, Kingwood Park was not ready for the class of 2025 to break down the walls.
What are you most proud of from high school so far?
I am extremely proud of the class of 2025. I think we've done some great things, and we've got some great things on the horizon.
Okay. How long have you been involved in student government?
I was not involved during middle school, but during high school I was. I think it was first day of high school. It was boom, boom, or even before high school, because my brother was class vice president for his, I think, junior and senior year. So that sort of keyed me into also wanting to.
Other than Barrett, what persuaded you to get involved in SUCO?
I have been wanting to learn how to be a leader, and I felt like student council was a great way to become a leader within our student body.
How long have you been interested in politics? Where did that start?
That began, I want to say, around 2016. Back in third grade, my grandparents, anyone, I would key in a conversation and start asking. I've always been really open to hearing other people's opinions, because at the end of the day, I think it's just a product of people's passion, and it's worth asking about.
What got you elected freshman year? What was the process
freshman year? That was an interesting one. We already had a group, and I from the get-go, I was like, okay, we got to assert some dominance here. So I sort of took a quick leadership role. Courtney and I have been friends since third grade, so I approached her and was like, look, we have got to go for class president, class VP. So we had a fun campaign. We put our faces on shirts, and we passed those around to get some photos. We got a little stuffed animal seal and had people take photos with that. We called that the seal of approval. We were really dedicated, and we were extremely excited to continue raising the bar with the class of 2025.
What are your top 3 moments from high school concerning being president, SUCO, top 3 would you say is
Whenever I figured out that I was elected class president, I was extremely excited. The ideas were coming out the wazoo. Everything, there was just a lot of excitement. Whenever we put on Beefcake, that hadn't been done before. That was not a thing that we've done at Kingwood Park. Powder Puff has been on other campuses. It's been at Kingwood Park too. Beefcake was really new to us, and it was also really exciting, and it was really successful, and we had a great time. We can't wait to do it again this year. It hasn't happened yet, but this year we're doing Mr. KPARK, which is going to be a men's pageant show with representatives from every school.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so I think we're really excited about that, and that may take the third spot on that list.
Will that be students or teachers?
It'll be students. We'll have a board of teachers, and they'll vote. And this is all pending. It'll happen, but we don't really know the logistics. But it'll come in 3 parts, like a dance, a talent, and a speech, and formal dress wear. It'll be super fun. It'll be a good fundraiser, and we're super excited about that. Oh, and class shirts. I love class shirts. That's another one.
I think the class shirts turned out really good this year. They were really strong. What fundraising have you done for our class? We
do class shirts. We do spirit nights. We do events like Powder Puff and Mr. KPARK are our two events this year. Last year we did beefcake. That's mostly it. Sometimes before pep rallies, we'll sell spirit items. We also don't only fundraise for our class. We also fundraise for pediatric cancer during Gold Fight Win. And just a few weeks ago for our homecoming faculty, we were fundraising for Mrs. Workman, one of the Stuco sponsors, and she won.
So which fundraisers have been most successful?
Class shirts are always really successful. They'll bring in about $1,500 to $2,000. Also, we did a main event fundraiser, and we raised, I want to say, $1,000 from that. Beefcake was probably our most successful fundraiser so far. I want to say we raised about $2,500.
What was your favorite fundraiser that we've done?
So far, Beefcake. That was a super fun event.
How much planning? How much was that? Was like your original idea? You're like, hey guys.
I would love to take credit for it, but Mrs. Johnson approached us and said, "Look, I have this idea, men's volleyball." And immediately, every class officer looked at each other and said, "Yeah, this is what we're doing. This is going to be a fun time." And we were completely on board, and dedication was ready from the get-go.
How much money has been raised each year, like an estimate? Like how much do you think, splitting up what we have now, how much do you think was raised?
Yeah, so I think about $2,000 was freshman year. Last year, I think, was about $8,000.
Wow, so we really skyrocketed.
Yeah, we did. And it'll keep exponentially growing. And then this year, I want to say we're at about $3,000 so far, but we've barely even scratched the bucket when it comes to the stuff we have coming up. But we've got to raise about $80,000 to $100,000 for prom. So,
I mean, are you trying to break that and go beyond?
Of course. The class of 2025 deserves the best.
What has been the most consistent throughout the past few years in raising money for the class? What has been successful time and time again for fundraising?
Class shirts is pretty consistent. And this year it's hard. Junior year and sophomore year are typically the hardest to sell shirts, but we've brought in a great profit each year from those.
Have you broken have we broken as a class any records that we know of?
Every year we have raised more money than any class of that year. So like our freshman year, we raised the most money than any other freshman year before. Sophomore year, we did the same, and we have the same goal for this year. And I have pure confidence that we'll do it again.
Juniors have about $4,000, like over the whole 3 years, they've made $4,000. Mm-hmm. That's it. So we have around, so you're saying like 13,000 would say our total is right now? Okay.
About that.
So that's never been done before?
That is unprecedented.
Wow. And I think our school's been around for what? A long time, and like 16 years in high school?
2007.
Oh my gosh. What personal role have you played in fundraising money for the junior class?
I've taken the presidential role, and I see that as more of looking on the horizon saying this is where we want to be, and then giving the people that I have the honor of working with the opportunity to achieve that. I'm extremely dedicated, but every officer we have, they love it as much as I do. And if we let them off the leash, then we're off making money and having a great time.
What have you done for your class as president?
As president, we started the inaugural beefcake. We've dominated pep rallies. We've only won one for the spirit stick, but
I feel like the spirit stick isn't making a reappearance as of lately. Like I don't see the spirit stick floating around.
Well, and here's my theory, Shelby. I think the admin knows that we're the best, and I think they're like, well, we can't give it to the class of 2025 every time. However, they've forgotten to give it to us. So I think they are in like some sort of dilemma.
Yeah, I feel like people in our grade are losing spirit because we're like, obviously we're winning and this is rigged. Like
I agree. However, I think the pep rally this Friday, we're gonna dominate. We're gonna dominate.
What role do you play in school-wide events such as HOCO and pep rallies?
To be perfectly honest, for homecoming, I'm not too involved. That's more student council. I'm involved in that. But for class officers, we're more focused on fundraising money for prom and senior picnic and sunrise. We've got a great student council, though, and they were very dedicated and put on an amazing homecoming this year.
What plans or like ideas do you have for our senior year activities? So like sunrise, picnic, sunset. prom? Like, what is your, like, the class officers in yours, like, thought process?
I mean, we plan on doing those, key events like senior sunrise, sunset, prom, and picnic, but we want to do it, all out. And we don't really know what that means just yet, but with the funds that we're getting and the energy and excitement that we have in the officers and within the class, I think we're going to have a great time and sort of have an unprecedented senior year.
Are you thinking that we're going to go like the typical route of big rivers, or are we going to come up with like something new? New locations.
Big Rivers is fairly new. Most classes haven't done it, and it's pretty expensive too. I wouldn't be surprised if we do that. Maybe we can add some specialties to it. It comes with like 2 packages where it's just the water park or the water park plus other activities. So we may get that premium deal, but I would not be surprised if we do Big Rivers.
Last year's juniors did like a skyrocket fundraiser because their whole thing is like rockets and shoot for the stars. Like, what are we thinking for our like big fundraiser, raise a lot of money, blah, 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 this year?
We'll definitely do one of those vertical raises, like the tech shootout, raise a lot of money, because although we're in a great spot fiscally for where we are, it's not where we need to be. And in total terms, we are pretty broke and we need the money. So a big fundraiser like that can get 30, 40, 50, I think we're capable. $50,000, that would be really good.
How much did they raise last year? Wasn't it like something super big?
Yeah, it was like I want to say around 40,000. I think over 40,000.
Can you think of anything else you're excited for, like senior year, junior year, like?
Yeah, I am very excited for Mr. KPARK. Other grades have tried it before. It hasn't been successful, but I think we've got a lot of energy in our class and other classes to make it a great event, as well as some really strong leaders that can get it done. This year we're putting on Powder Puff, and we're extremely excited to do that. And we're just super excited to raise the bar and keep achieving new heights.
So I've noticed in the past, like I would say near the end of sophomore year, beginning of this year, that what we had freshman year hype crew wise, it's lacking in, I guess, every grade, even ours. Like, what are we going to do to improve that?
That's a great question. I completely agree with that. Last year we had some very strong seniors that were very into the hype. We do have a crew of seniors this year. Our junior year, we have a few leaders, but there's definitely a need for some more to stand up and take on that role.
How could we add to that? Like, I think if we just put people who want to be down there. Do you think? I'm completely agreeing with that. If we can have some people with high energy, whether it's on the front row or even I don't know how much admin liked having people on the floor. So as long as we had strong leaders in the front row, I think that could be very strong. But also having strong leaders, they don't need to be necessarily on the gym floor. They can be sprinkled out throughout our stands and, making sure everyone's standing up. I know we have that issue where you're looking out and it's almost like a gradient of energy to less energy to the top. So what is the biggest challenge you faced during your presidency?
Biggest challenge. Okay. That's a hard one. When we're blessed with such a great group of kids, both in officers and our class, it's really easy to do some great things. Right now I can't think of anything. We're having a great time. Sometimes, it'll get stressful when events start overlapping over each other, but with, people taking up roles and being dedicated, it sort of solves itself out. I mean, actually, I think one of our biggest struggles is we have so many ideas that we want to do, and there's just a short timeline, and we can't get it all done.
What original ideas have you come up with for fundraising that might not have been even laid out yet?
What have we done? There was beefcake, which is pretty unprecedented, but I won't take credit for that idea. We've been pretty run of the mill with what we've done. It's how we've done it that has changed the game. Our Instagram, we had the most followers at the end of our freshman year than any other grade. We have a large focus on involvement of our students. We believe in taking photos, posting people, tagging them, making sure everyone knows that they're a part of it. we've learned that with a lot of engagement, you get a lot of excitement.
Why do you think the people in our grade love raising money and having spirit so much? Like, what's in our water? Like,
I think we've got some extremely strong leaders in our midst, and we've got leaders that are perfectly confident to go up to someone and hear no. You know, we'll have fundraisers where we go up to people saying, hey, will you donate to this? Hey, do you want to purchase this? And 9 times out of 10, the answer is no. But we have some resilient, strong leaders in our officers that will keep on going. And, you know, it spreads. It's made its way to not only officers, but to leaders and to other students.
What was critical in raising money freshman and sophomore year? What were the highlights?
For freshman year, we took on responsibility very quickly. We set up a group very quick, and we had a lot of energy, and that's all it takes. At least for freshman year, you just need a group that says, we want to try. And that initial energy sort of was a catalyst almost for everything that, you know, followed.
I feel like we're always the ones selling the spirit wear for pep rallies. How did you like take dibs on that so early on?
I did just that. I went up to Miss Johnson and I said, we call dibs on that. That's us. We're doing that. And I think we did that the second pep rally of our freshman year. We said, that's what we're doing. Yep.
And I feel like we do, like, that's every pep rally I've been to. We're selling stuff.
Yeah. And I mean, to be honest, it's not that lucrative. We'll make probably $100 to $200 off of it, but it's worth looking out in the student section and seeing people, you know, holding something, waving something, wearing something. So, it's just another way to say, hey, we're some leaders and we value your spirit.
Would you have done anything differently?
I can't say I have any regrets with what we've done so far.
Do you have any advice to the future classes?
This is a very valuable 4 years. You know, life's pretty short, and it's 4 years. Why not invest in the time that you're here and make the most out of it?
Do you have anything else you want to add?
It is an honor to serve as the class of 2025 president. I hope I can keep this role for years to come, and I hope that everyone, takes advantage of Kingwood Park and all the resources it has to offer.